So people, episode 35 of Skyrim Special Edition modding. A month has passed since the last episode again, and it's time to see how far the Special Edition came and how much it has accomplished in terms of catching up to its older brother. Let's do this. My selection this time was somewhat limited by the fact that most of the best mods this month were actually mods I already reviewed for Classic Skyrim. Other than that, there were also many outfit mods which were already available for SE, but received a CBBE body slide makeover. And lots of SE converted pretty face followers too, of course. So, in other words, I picked the most significant and fresh mods of this month, starting with the script extender mods. Animations by Ginebreeze. This mod is all about giving your character specific animations to make interactions with different objects in the world actually visible and increase the immersion that way. Simple actions like harvesting, looting or reading will become tons more immersive with this. Even simple actions like opening the door, something all the NPCs could do all along, while the player character apparently used Jedi powers to do this. Well, not anymore. The animations, however, work only in third-person view, so if you are in first-person view, it will automatically switch for the duration of the animation. That's kinda the only flaw this mod has, if you can call it that way. The next one is also incredibly hardcore immersive, Simply Knock by Chesco. With this mod, your character won't attempt to break into other people's homes like a maniac as soon as there is a locked door. Instead, the game will offer you to knock. And if somebody is inside, you will be able to persuade them to open. There is a special dialogue if you are friends with the owner. Oh, and this is not really compatible with the animations mod. If you use both, your character will go into the lockpick animation and menu, even if you choose to leave. Then we have another one of those, Flying Mod Beta by Porroone. To make this work, get the 3 spell books and learn the new powers. By using the flying spell, you will start levitating. I have to say I like this flying mod much more than the one from the last episode. The controls are incredibly fluent and easy to use, and it works perfectly with the controller. Be careful, however, it drains a lot of stamina by default. If it runs out, you will fall and die. Of course, you can configure stamina costs and other things with the configuration spell. And the best part is, you can also use the flying spell companion on your followers, and they will fly alongside you. This is simply awesome. The next mod is all about managing your gear. Hotkey Your Gear by Pirata Bonifacio. With this, you can change whole equipment sets with one press of a button. You will get those 8 rings. They only look like rings and won't block your ring slot, of course. Press the drop button and it will ask you what you want to bind. Then simply hotkey the assigned ring or use it from your inventory, and the set will be equipped automatically. Works well with armors featuring custom slots too. Next we have another camera mod, Auto First Third Person View by QWERTY. This mod changes the camera mode automatically in different situations, like for example going into first person view during dialogues, like it did back in Oblivion. Of course you can toggle the specific conditions on and off. The mod works fine with keyboard and mouse, but unfortunately it doesn't work with the controller properly. The only function which worked was the dialogue one, but it didn't revert to third person afterwards. The next one deals with follower management, CS Tag and Track by CS aka MUSH. With the Tag and Track power you can mark your followers and they will receive a quest marker, and the quest shows up in your menu. The cool thing is, it works not only for followers, but with literally any NPC. There is also the Tag and Track search power, which allows you to summon the marked NPC to your location or vice versa. You can also open their inventory or check their stats. A very useful mod. There is also an MCM menu, but for some reason on this mod it takes ages to show up. And there is one more, Blitz console commands by Blitz54. This is not really a mod, but rather just a list of many useful console commands, with description and everything. That way you don't need to alt-tab your game or something like that. This mod does not necessarily require SKSE, because beside the MCM menu there is also the basic version, which adds the list to the help menu, only that it doesn't seem to work. So I guess you do require the SKSE one after all. So much for the script extender mods. Now let's check out some regular ones, starting with this interesting mod called Charitable Soul by SAGITTARIUSZZ. This mod allows you to be a total good guy character. It adds new immersive dialogues for you to be able to show off just how charitable you are, starting with the ability to praise your dog. Who's a good doggo? Then you will be able to give some better, warmer clothes to the beggars. Now that's one stylish beggar, don't you think? Then you can also help the farmers with their harvest for free, instead of doing it for money like in the vanilla game. There is also the option to donate some money to the Overhaul orphanage in Riften. And last but not least, there is a new enchanting method with so-called sigil stones. Because you know, soul gems contain souls of slain creatures. And that's not cool. Yeah, I bet we will get a vegan mod next. Next comes a nice little mod which also goes quite heavily on the immersion, Volcanic Tundra Heatwave Effects by Fading Signal. Okay, despite the title already spoiling all the fun, did you ever wander around the volcanic area and think, wow, this must be hot? Well, that's also what the author thought here, and decided to add this heat distortion effect. Can you see it? Can you feel the heat? Oh, now I remember something sad. Well, anyway, this stuff is immersive and hot as hell. Next mod. Since the episode would have been kinda short like this, I decided to throw in some sexy weapon mods. Artifacts. The Ice Blade of the Monarch by FRANKFAMILY is the first one. Here we actually have 3 different highly detailed and beautiful weapons. 4 if you count the swords, because there is a one-handed and two-handed version. Both swords also have nice scabbards with the same insane amount of detail. The dagger is a variation of the Skyrim weapons from the vanilla game, and the staff also has a similar vanilla relative. And if all that is not enough, the sword also gives you the ability to summon a badass custom Ice Atronach in exchange for all its charge. The next one is a package as well. Dragon Bone Weapons Complete by KTA Creations and They Call Me Cheese, ported to SSE by Hilly1. Those models look awfully familiar. I'm sure I already reviewed a big mod pack which had this in it. Well, who cares? The next one is The Huntsman by Rudy88 and Insanity Sorrow. This is a highly customizable and upgradable bow. And I'm sure I saw this model in other mods I reviewed too. But I'm quite sure the Huntsman is the original. This here is a reworked edition which does not require the SKSE for example, and some other tweaks have been made. There is also lots of different skins available, for example. And here's one more, Shadowmourne by Skyrim. That's one huge badass two-handed axe, based on Shadowmourne from World of Warcraft. And yes, it is definitely highly detailed as well. Much more detailed than the weapon it's based on. Funny, isn't it? But this is what they call the magic of Skyrim. And since we need something for the thumbnail, here's a follower. Mary, a vampire follower by Teen H. She can be found in the Winking Skewer in Solitude. She wears this bikini armor by default. It looks totally unfitting and cheap, so I gave her the Scarlet Dawn armor by BLOODFREE. Looks much better, doesn't it? This outfit mod is one of those which received the CBBE body slides upgrade, so the physics should work now, right? Yep, they sure do. So anyway, Mary is a generic follower with the exception that she is a vampire. And if you choose the true vampire version, she will have the characteristics of one too, like taking sun damage. And this is it for this episode. Well, the special edition certainly made a step forward. Maybe not as big one as in the last episode, but still. And the links to all mods are in the description below. Don't forget to endorse the mods you like. And also, don't forget to like this video, leave a comment and subscribe. This really helps me a lot. I thank you all for watching and see you around.